All right, everybody. This is Power Move Parker here. You got Sleepy Joe behind me, if you guys can see. Sleepy Joe 2020. It says, "Wake me up when the election's over." So that's what I'm waiting for. Honestly, wish I was Sleepy Joe. I wish I could just sleep until November because I know these first 12 weeks of school are going to be so hectic. I already know, but I kind of wish I could just sleep on my job. That'd be fun. But welcome to another edition of Parker and Dad. Uh, Episode 15, I think. We're up there. Episode 15, I want to say. Well, we've done it. We're still doing Zoom. We've mastered technology now. We have background. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to President Dad because no one needs to know his real name. No one needs to know his real name.
I've moved to the Northern Command. I'm here in Washington, D.C., just in case they need me or anything to clear things up, getting closer. So I just thought I'd work out of D.C. This week.
Well, I'm happy with technology. You can just put yourself anywhere. I mean, you may need to do another picture next week with you just kind of you, Trump, and Chris Christie all kind of giving each other bear hugs.
Yeah, I'm here. Just if he needs me, I've let the president know I'm around. I can help where needed.
Where were you when the president was getting attacked? Secret Service came out yesterday or the day before. Apparently, they were firing. The Secret Service had to take a guy out right outside the gate of the White House before a press conference. Trump comes strolling back out to the press conference. All the media people were surprised and shocked. They're acting like Trump should be more scared, and Trump says, "Oh no, my Secret Service is the best. They took him out. I'm not scared." There's still a lot I want to talk about. And then Trump, right on cue, he was just getting shot at or getting attacked by somebody, and right on cue, he goes into the press conference and says, "Now time to trash China, trash Sleepy Joe, trash the Democrats." He did not let that faze him at all. He was going to attack the Democrats at that press conference in China, and he didn't let gunshots stop him.
No, a reporter asked, "Are you shaking?" He goes, "No, I'm not shaking." He said, our Secret Service is huge. He said, they got big guns and they can take people. They take care of problems. So no, he's got confidence in the Secret Service, and I promise you, that one guy with a gun is not going to make a difference.
It was just funny how he just went right on cue to the political. He didn't miss a beat.
He knew what he wanted to talk about. What he said, when can I get back out there? So yeah, he was on his game.
But another person who is now on his game, or apparently, well, we've been waiting for him to say it, but Joe Biden picked a VP, Kamala Harris. We knew it was going to be a person of color. We knew it was going to be a female. He said all these things earlier, and to a greater extent, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, pretty much everybody at Fox News and beyond in the conservative side knew it was going to be Kamala Harris. I mean, it's funny how conservatives knew this was going to happen, and Democrats are like, "Oh, yeah, he picked Kamala." We saw this from a mile away. We know what their voters want. We know what Joe had to do. Can you imagine Joe picking anybody white or anybody that's a man? I mean, it would not have worked.
Well, I think I don't really care because I don't think it matters because I don't think he's going to get elected. But can you imagine normally what a president does when he selects a running mate? I mean, look at Daddy Bush had to pick Dan Quayle, and Obama picked Joe Biden, and not to say anything about Pence, but he's not a lot of excitement there in Pence. He's not a guy that's going to. Kamala Harris is going to shadow Joe. I cannot imagine tomorrow when they're both on the same stage and they're both speaking and Joe gets finished and then she speaks or whatever the order is, and they go, wow, what a contrast. Normally, you do not want to pick someone that's going to be more dynamic, more energizing, more exciting than yourself. And I think Joe has made a mistake.
Joe has 100% made a mistake, and I don't know how you overdo that. I don't know how you overcome that if you're Joe, because obviously it's kind of like when I I don't know, when you think of all these great backup quarterbacks, I mean, Nick Foles, Tim Tebow, all these guys that were on the bench, that as soon as the starters started messing up, everybody on the team started chanting, and the fans, Tebow,
Put him
Tebow.
in. Put him in. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have that effect. The reaction, this just now, seeing this reaction by my Democrat friends on Facebook, and you've actually would be proud of me. I know you don't have social media, but these past few weeks, since I knew school was getting closer, I've actually not posted near as much. I don't know. You don't really have any way of checking, but you'd be proud of me because I've stayed off of Facebook, and I posted occasional sports stuff. And Twitter, I may retweet some stuff, but as far as me posting, I've actually, bare minimum, I post stuff about the podcast and maybe a couple links I share, but as far as my commentary, I have kind of toned it down because I'm just tired of all the negativity I get coming my way whenever I want to post something. Everyone's trying to bash me. So if people want to come and get my opinion, they can come to Old Main Entertainment on YouTube, or they can find us on SoundCloud, Power Move Parker, if they want to actually get my opinion. But Facebook and Twitter for me have just gotten too terrible. But I do see reactions. I do see trends. And the excitement about Kamala Harris being the VP was way more than Joe Biden winning the nomination for president, or, getting the nomination, because all my people my age, they wanted Bernie. I mean, their dream would be Bernie and Kamala, or Bernie and AOC. I mean, they would all be really excited about that. But Joe Biden didn't really like that excitement. But Kamala Harris, I mean, people are really loving that. So they're way more excited about that, which tells you a lot.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, from a pick of a person that's going to overshadow the. It's already been such a strange political season, so it doesn't really matter now. It's crazy, but I bet she's out way more than he is. He's not going to get out of the bunkers. They're going to have to get somebody that can get out there, energize, get some people out to vote, and so she'll be out on the roads. She'll be making the speeches and out making the rounds. I don't see Joe doing much of that. They're going to keep him. And plus, if she's out talking, then he's not screwing up.
Well, that's another thing that brings me into my next segment, because I wasn't gonna just go the whole podcast without talking about Joe screwing up. Because since the last time we've talked, first off, it's very funny. I want to start with this. I'm not attacking spouses and I'm not attacking family members. I know they're not running, but it says a lot that Jill Biden had to go on Fox News to defend her husband. I don't know if you saw that. Jill Biden had to go on Fox News to defend her husband, to talk about how he's ready for the debates, that he's ready to go, that Trump should be scared of him. I mean, Jill Biden was on full attack mode, and God bless her heart, she did what a mama bear would do. She was defending her family against Fox News. But Joe, how are you going to let your wife go on Fox News when you refuse to face the heat? I mean, when Trump was campaigning, he was going on CNN. He was going on MSNBC. Trump, this year, 2020, went on HBO, and they trashed him. They made him look – I mean, they asked him ridiculous questions. They made him look really dumb. It was a very biased interview. Trump goes on all these liberal shows and does interviews. But when Joe wants to, go to controversial places that actually ask questions, he sends his wife, or his wife is the one that goes to Fox News. I don't know. For me, that's really telling of what kind of president we're going to get.
It's Uncle Joe. They're protecting him. They're protecting him. They're not going to put him out anywhere he's going to get hard. And I think it's true. I mean, he's got an invitation to do Brett Baer, Chris Wallace. I mean, Trump sat there for an hour. He took the questions, and they were hard questions, and they called him on some stuff. But you don't see Joe Biden doing that, and I don't think that you're going to see that. Joe, the polls show him ahead, and he's not going to get out there and put himself in that position. So it's not going to happen. We're going to have to wait and see what happens in the debate. He's a decent debater. He did okay in the Democratic primaries, but it's been a while. It's been a while since he's been challenged. and to get up for an hour or 2 hours in front of the lights with questions and Trump. I'm excited. I cannot wait until the debates. It's going to be fun.
You know what I did, right? I told you what I did. I watched all three debates, and I got to tell you, of the old Hillary Clinton debates, 2016, Trump Clinton, and just the balls, I guess you can say, for lack of a better word, the uncharacteristicness of Trump. I don't want to just break it down all. Like, I sent you those long texts, so I'm not going to do that on the show.
No, he's not a traditional debater, but he is ruthless.
Yeah. So I looked at debate one. Honestly, unbiased opinion, I really did think Hillary probably could have won debate one. I really do. Debate one was timid Trump. He brought up some stuff, but he didn't really hammer home what he should have hammered home. It was probably an even kill. Hillary looked like the politician. Trump just kind of said, he's the outsider. I'm new to this. I'm doing what I can, whatever. It was kind of friendly. Debate two was after the whole grab her by the, P word, the whole thing with that, where Trump's video got leaked. So what does Trump do? Steve Bannon gets him to hold a press conference with 4 women who accused Joe Biden of sexual harassment, sexual assault, whatever you want to call it. He puts them in front of
Bill Clinton, not Joe Biden, Bill Clinton.
Oh, Bill Clinton, my bad. Yeah, it was the Clinton president. It was the 2016. It was Bill Clinton's accusers are the ones who accused him of sexual assault, sexual harassment. And he brought that out before the debate. And he had those 4 women sit in the debate. And it was like a town forum. No one's ever seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. In your face.
Yeah. So, and people were like, well, that didn't. But then he had the famous line of, we're Hillary Clinton. Well, we're just glad Donald Trump isn't in charge of the law in this country. And Donald Trump says, because you'd be in jail. And then boom, the crowd erupted. Yeah. And then the whole thing with that was carried over into debate 3, which after debate 2 and the whole you'd be in jail line, I think he won the presidency there. But because we talk about one-liners and how important they are, you mention Reagan's one-liners all the time. Yeah. That was Trump's moment in 2016 was you'd be in jail. And then he started doing the whole build the wall and they're grabbing babies out of their mother's wombs and killing them. He did that in debate 3. He started talking about abortion and immigration. He got real serious. He said if Hillary Clinton was president, they'd be killing babies out of the womb. They'd be dragging them out 9 months, stabbing them, killing them. He made it very personal, very emotional. Was it something I would have done? Probably not. But you got to give Trump credit for saying what a lot of Republicans and conservatives think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I don't know. And we've seen how Joe Biden reacts. He doesn't do well when he's attacked.
He gets frustrated.
He gets frustrated. He loses his temper, and not in a good way. Not in a Newt Gingrich where he goes off and blasts the media and because they're attacking him and his dying when he was divorcing his wife at cancer.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
The media and he went up and he won the next primary. Went on to lose, but those are where you turn it around and you attack back. Biden just goes crazy. Accuses this last week a network guy and what am I trying to say?
No, I know what you're trying to say. I was just going to add to the end of that segment is that Trump, it's his character. He likes getting attacked. He was on The Apprentice.
Well, he's going to hit back. He's going to hit back.
No, but he likes someone to rough him up a little bit, and he'll hit back, and he'll do it in a way that people are used to. That Trump, oh, you call me a loser? Well, I'll show you a loser. You're the biggest loser there, and he'll start doing his stuff where he starts naming all this stuff, and he's got insults prepared. I think that's what he does. I think he just studies insults and stuff he can get under your skin with. That's why Trump is Trump. He's been on TV long enough. Joe Biden you see his face get red, and he just gets, well, I'll do more push-ups than you. I'll punch you in the face, you fatty. He just gets so angry.
Yeah. There was a reporter that he accuses him. He says, "So you want me to take a cognitive test?
Junkie remark, yeah.
Did you take a cocaine test? You see if you're not on drugs, you junkie." I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
And it was a black reporter. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That not good, Joe. Not good.
Yeah. The whole comment.
And we've seen the people that attack back to Trump. If you don't do it well, there's a whole bunch of them. There's about 6 Republican candidates for president that are on the wayside. I mean, Jeb, Mark Rubio, Ted Cruz. You can go down the list. They're out there. You got to be prepared.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole junkie remark. And there's another remark I want to talk about too, that it was very similar. Biden has a history of saying these things, and when Trump says it, he says so many crazy things that people are just like, oh, it's Trump at this point. I mean, he's going to say stuff, but then Joe Biden, he says it so casually and it's just weird how he delivers it. So the whole junkie remark was one where he was talking about the IQ test and not wanting to take it and basically calling that guy a junkie. That was bad. Okay, I get it. It was bad. You could probably take it as a joke, whatever. But something you can't take as a joke is the diversity remark. He says it right here. He says, Latinos, they're way more diverse than black people. Basically saying, you have a lot more diversity in the Hispanic community, whatever. That's awesome. I agree with that. But then he said, well, there's pretty much only one kind of African-American person. I mean, they're all the same. Basically saying there's no diversity in the African-American community. We know that's not true. I know that's not true. The whole world should know that's not true. But for him to say all black people are the same, which is basically what he said. I mean, he's basically saying all black people are the same. I mean, that to me is 100% racist. First, he said you're not black if you don't vote for him. And now he's saying, well, that community just isn't as diverse as other communities. How racist is that?
Yeah. How crazy. I mean, to say, oh, yeah, one black person, they all think the same. I mean, you just group them together. It's just the black vote. Now, talk about the Hispanic vote. Now, they're diverse. Any more racist than that.
Yeah.
How belittling and disrespectful is that? But you haven't heard anybody talk about it.
No, if Trump would have said something like that, it would have been all over the news. Trump's actually picking his words pretty carefully this time around when it comes to racial stuff, which I do appreciate. He's focusing more on China and outside foreign invaders, which are definitely a big problem. And that kind of leads us into the whole Trump banning TikTok, or him wanting Microsoft or some American company to purchase TikTok. He doesn't want the Chinese influence of the social media app TikTok in the United States. He kind of laid his foot down on that. And a lot of people were kind of laughing it off, whatever. I know some people that still enjoy TikTok. They don't think much of it, but it is used. I mean, they get your pictures, they get your videos, they get your facial recognition. TikTok is a big deal. And the fact that it's ran by China and we're having all these problems with China, I think Trump did the right move by looking into that. I mean, why wouldn't China use TikTok as a way to infiltrate? We know everything is ran by state government over there. I mean, it's state-run, it's country-run. It's not a private thing. It's all ran. If it's in China, that means China's got its fingerprints all over it, and the Chinese government has its fingerprints all over it. So you can only imagine China's using TikTok to gather information on Americans. I mean, it's pretty easy to assume.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the TikTok, but I can guarantee about China, that's the whole intellectual theft that's been going on for years. We've allowed it to happen. Everybody's just turned their head and everyone's just said, oh, well. But the problem is there's a multi-level. But Trump has talked about China before he was president, since he's president. Yes, everybody got excited because, oh, I'm his friend. He's a negotiator. He's going to always play the angles. But you can't go back and look at the policy of the president since he's been in office. His administration has been tougher on China, tougher on Russia, tougher on European countries. I mean, he's got them donating into to NATO. He's collecting the tariffs, and if people owe us things, if we're doing something, then he's going to make it fair or reciprocal or whatever the words he's using. That has been handled great. So yes, he's coming down on China, and he's come back out. I heard yesterday. Look, he said, we had a great deal. We're trying to do trade with China. Now, that doesn't mean anything with the China virus, with the whole thing that they've handled the coronavirus and how they tried to destroy our economy and destroy the world's economy. And then now with this getting into, I mean, I guarantee you, if you're a company and you're going to produce something like TikTok or cell phones or whatever electronically is done in China, it's an unfair thing. They have proprietary, for you to do business over there, they're going to have everything to do with your business. They're going to know everything about it. You're going to have to give it to them, and then they're going to have their influence or copy it. And it's naive to think that they have an embedded encryption and different things into all of our phones, into this technology. And kudos to the Trump administration, Secretary Pompeo, and those for calling out China and saying, this is not right. It's not going to fly.
Well, for so long, what was interesting was that I don't know what he was referring to, but he kept saying that up until now, or I guess still, other countries considered China a developing nation. It's not developing nation. It's a fully developed powerhouse. It's terminology
that was given to them. It gives them benefits and privileges in the world to come from economics. And so you give them that title. It's like Obama did with Cuba. You recognize them and you give them certain standards. And it's terminology within it. I don't know it all, but through the trade organizations. So they were getting beneficial treatment because they were willing to bring them in and to open trade markets. And we wanted to sell our goods. There's a lot of Chinese people. We're greedy. We wanted to sell to the Chinese. But the cost of doing that is too high when they're stealing from us, when they're cheating us, and when they're not playing fair. They don't play by the same rules. If a company does business in America and trades on the New York Stock Exchange, we have regulations. We have things that monitor them. We're allowing China to do the same thing, except we're not allowed to put the same regulations in place or the same checks in. And we know they're cheating. So no, I'd kick China out of everything.
And what people don't realize about it all is the fact that when Trump talks about, yes, I mean, you can hammer him on how he's handled COVID since it came to America, but what Trump is saying is it should have never been in America if China was more open and they told people, hey, we've got this virus. I mean, China kept the coronavirus under wraps pretty heavily. I mean, they didn't tell anybody.
China knew that it was in Wuhan.
Yeah,
so what they say, if you're in Wuhan, you can't come to any part of China. You can't travel, but you can leave Wuhan and go to Europe. You can leave Wuhan and go to America. You can leave Wuhan and go anywhere you want to. You just can't travel from Wuhan to any part of China. So they contained it from spreading from Wuhan to other parts of China.
They knew what they were doing.
Because they said, no, but you can leave. Yeah. And then they didn't tell anybody these people were leaving with this virus. They allowed them to leave and they spread it through, you can see where it spread through Europe and then on across.
South America is getting hit really bad right now. And if you look at the population and the densities and different things, America, obviously we've had our struggles, but we did what we had to do. We tried our best. We've tried to get medical professionals back to where they could understand it. But if you look at South America, that's not the case. And you look at Japan, Japan was heavily praised, but now Japan is seeing increases in cases again. So whatever Japan, we thought they were doing right. Everybody pointed to Japan and said, hey, we need to be more like Japan, more like Japan. Well, Japan's now struggling. They've had a second
Yeah,
wave or a third wave.
What it's proven is
Yeah.
it's going to be a difficult thing.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we'll get a vaccine soon, and hopefully we can do something. But no, it's highly contagious, and if you have an outbreak, it's going to spread.
Well, going back onto the ground of things, because we're looking at a virus, we can't really see that, but we can. Stuff we can see is the way the police are being treated in this country, whether it be Portland, Seattle, a lot of trouble up in the northwest region of the country with police and hatred towards police. I know a lot's going on in Portland, but in Seattle, they've really moved forward with a bill that's going to severely defund the police. And as soon as they did that, I think a police chief or whoever, one of the higher ranking police officers, turned in her resignation. It was one of the ladies that was trying to get help for everything and talking about how she was the one that was saying they're not letting us do our job. She was talking bad about the government not letting us do our job. And she was the one who, I'll look up her name while I'll let you talk about it, but she's
the Seattle police chief. And so she is resigning, retiring.
But it's a sad situation.
You have to go to her, and the mayor. The mayor of Seattle has said, look, this cut is not done. It's not being done properly. We need to talk about it. It needs to be done in a different way. But it came out today that the city council voted against it. The reason they voted against it was because they didn't think it cut enough. But they have never, ever sat down with the police department, with the police chief, and discussed how should we go about doing this cut. This is what we want to accomplish. They've decided on their own. It is total BS. And so I guess she stuck with it as long as she could, and she said, okay, I'm out.
Well, and like you said, it's how they're being treated. It's not about the money thing. The money thing is one side of it. And the chief's decision comes amid the city's plan to reduce the department by as many as 100 officers. So they're not just getting rid of money, they're also reducing the number of officers, because that's always smart. When there's crime, when crime's up, it's always good to take police officers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're planning to do. They're still having riots in the streets, and it's crazy. I don't know. I mean, these people are just insane.
But Carmen Best is her name, so I wish her the best. And play all words there. It just says outgoing Seattle police chief says it's not about money, but lack of respect for the officers and her officers. So I mean, you that's it. What more do you want to say? I mean, you're not getting respect.
They're putting their life on the line. They're running into places that everybody's running away from. But yet the support and the respect they get, it's disrespectful, and it's sad. I don't know what they intend to do with the police force.
Well, it's funny you talk about respect, and it carries over, and a lot of the smart people, a lot of people with money, a lot of people on both sides of the aisle, whether it be Democrat or Republican, who maybe not be politicians, but people that are just kind of waking up to this madness, common sense Americans, I think. But Tyler Perry, we all know who that is. Tyler Perry, he went on CNN. He's the guy who does all the Medea movies. He does House of Pain, Meet the Browns. He's the funny black director, video guy. He makes a lot of movies. He has a studio out in Atlanta, Georgia, a very, very black, area. And he represents a lot of the black community. A lot of black people really like Tyler Perry movies. He employs them. He makes movies they can relate to, and I enjoy the movies as well. I think they're a little goofy, but I do enjoy Tyler Perry movies and sitcoms. And he went on CNN, and he's kind of like Terry Crews, another black actor who's in the world. And he basically said, he said something kind of he almost sounded like Ben Shapiro. He sounded like a conservative. He's like, the only way we're going to fix racial tensions is if we have more police. We need to put more police in black neighborhoods. And it's a very unpopular take, but it makes a lot of sense. You've got to stop the crime. You've got to stop black on black crime if you're going to fix black neighborhoods. No one's going to invest in a dangerous neighborhood. No one's going to start a business in a dangerous neighborhood. You need protection first, protection, safety first. Stop the crime, or at least lower it to a manageable level, and then we can work on race relations and things like that and actually getting them where they need to be. And he made a controversial point on CNN. I mean, I'm surprised they actually let him say that, but Tyler Perry's very respected by the black community and Democrats too. And he's saying, hey, listen, I have a studio in Atlanta. I know a lot of good people that are cops, that are firefighters, that serve, in the public sector. And he's saying, we need more police, we don't need to take them away. We don't need to defund them. We need more. And he's saying people need to do their research. Anytime you take away police from black neighborhoods, it usually doesn't end well for black people.
Well, I think you need to help the police to find the ones that are bad, the ones that do something wrong, and help them. There are many good ideas on what we can do to improve policing, but getting rid of it is not the solution. Defunding it is not the solution. The solution is to work with them, give them the resources, and to identify the few bad people and get them out of policing. But these are not protesters, these are criminals. And you don't go to a criminal and say, you'd like to sit down and have tea, and they're not interested in talking. They're not interested in fixing things. They're criminals. You don't negotiate with a criminal. And then this idiot up in Portland, the mayor that wanted to sit down and, well, I'm going to come out and protest with you and all this stuff. It didn't work out for him. They wanted his job as well. I don't know what these liberals are thinking, that you're going to walk into a group of criminals and sit down and say, well, we can fix this and work this out together. No, you don't reward that action. They don't get brownies for that. You go to jail if you break the law. If you protest, that's different. This is not protesting.
You know how funny it is and patronizing it is that a guy who's literally in charge of the city that's being protested, and he's out there saying, well, I'll help you guys. I'll stand out here. I'll visually be seen protesting. But as far as passing policies that will actually help you, I'm not going to do that. That's out of my hand. That's the Republicans' fault. I can't do that. But I can protest. No, dude, you're in a Democrat state. You're the mayor. You're in charge. Do what they want you to do. You have the power, instead of going out there trying to be protesting and then you not fixing a darn thing. I mean, you're just making things worse if you're getting rid of the police, but you're just appealing to the emotional few instead of actually serving your community.
It's your policies. Yeah. It's your inaction. Yeah. It's your failure that we're in this position. Yeah. So don't stand out here now and say, well, I'm here to help you get it. No, it was your job. You're the one that screwed up. I don't understand how they can not see that. It's their fault. So now they're wanting to go out there and hug and sing Kumbaya when they're the ones that screwed it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're going to see. We'll see. Next election cycle, we'll see who runs in some of these spots and if they get rid of some of these mayors and city council people and things like that, because there's got to be some change. I know the communities and the places are not that crazy. It's a few bad people, but these policies and this pandering is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly what this show is going to be. I was thinking of a title: Democrat Pandering. That's what this is. That's what this is happening. That's what's happening with the Kamala Harris pick. That's what's happening with how they treat police. This is a common theme. That's what we're seeing. It's pandering. It's all optics. It's visual. It's not going to change a darn thing for the communities they claim to care about. But yeah, it's funny how people can see it. On the right, people can see it, but some people can't see it. I don't know how you fix that. But I do want to talk about what do you think about this executive order Trump signed? I'm going to read a little bit of it here, but Trump's first order seeks to establish a payroll tax cut holiday from August 1st, 2020 through the end of the year. The second directs, so there was four of them. That was the first one. The second one directs the Department of Housing and Urban Development and other federal agencies to prohibit evictions. The third order establishes a $400 per week addition to the Paycheck Protection Program for workers. And the fourth, I actually kind of like it. The fourth will provide relief for American student loans. So I get all that. I think some of those are good. I don't know a lot about the payroll tax cut really, and the $400 per week addition to paycheck protection. I don't know what that means either, but I do like the student loan things and the eviction things for sure. I'm glad he's pushing back on that because there are people getting evicted from their apartments, their houses, and things like that, and they're not able to get rent because nobody's been working. The place has been shut down. Nobody's hiring. It's very hard to get a job right now. I think it's getting better. The economy is going in the right direction, but it's still pretty hard. There's still a lot of panic out there. So two of the four things I actually really like. I don't know why this is getting such backlash from the Democrats. He kind of blamed the Democrats, but
the Democrats are upset because they didn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't think. I am not a fan. Never a fan of this is the legislature's job. They spend money. That's how Article 1 of the Constitution says it. So I'm not a fan of what he's doing. But that being said, we didn't ask for the coronavirus. It was put upon us by China. It's here. People are hurting, and the Congress is dysfunctional. They've tried for 4 weeks to come up with a proposal. They couldn't come to an agreement. So Trump is doing something. So yes, you understand college loan forgiveness. That's saying, hey, if you're a college student, we know times are tough. You're not even going to college. We're going to defer that for right now. Eviction, okay, you're having a tough time. If you can't pay your rent, we're going to ask that you not be evicted. The payroll tax is for the working people. So if you have a job and you're working and it's hard to make ends meet, he's giving you some relief on your paycheck because you're going to get anywhere from 7 to 8% increase in your paycheck. So you get a little more money to spend. And if you're not working, then he's giving you $400 a week more towards your unemployment. So he's kind of done something for everybody. If you're not working, there's unemployment benefits have been extended and increased that amount for every week. If you are working, then he's kind of giving you a little extra money in your paycheck because you don't have to pay your Social Security Medicare tax. So it's kind of gone across the board, hit each sector a little bit. So he's limited what he can do, and he did something. And I think he put the Democrats in a corner. They're going to have to come out and start negotiating, honestly.
Yeah, that's perfect. Last thing is we're seeing, I'm not going to go into it deeply because we share the same network with Reed, and he likes to talk about sports, and that'll be the podcast I do tomorrow with the news coming out of the Pac-12, Big Ten, and maybe even the Big 12 and SEC soon. And I haven't really heard about the ACC, but 2 out of the 5 power conferences for sure have shut down. Pac-12, Big Ten, schools like Ohio State, schools like USC, UCLA, Oregon, Michigan. I can go on and on. Michigan State, big time, Penn State, big time schools are saying, no, we're not going to play football this season. Schools that you thought maybe would think more about the money, they're fine with sending their kids to school, but they're not, but are, sending them out there and whatever, but they're not fine with playing sports or doing that. So they've canceled fall sports for the 2020 season. They say they're going to try to play in the spring. My prediction is they don't do that because you can't just all of a sudden start things back up again. It's going to take at least until next fall. This might go down as one of the worst decisions by any sports thing in history. You're shutting down 2 big conferences. I don't know if college sports ever recovers. I really don't.
Oh, I don't know about sports in general, but let me tell you the reason. It's not about the health of the kids. It's not about playing, not playing. Because if they played now, it's about money. If they played now, they would have to play without selling tickets. They all tried to find a way. How can we sell tickets? How can we get the people in the stands?
Ultimately, that's probably what it was.
Money from these games. They fund all of their sports through football. They would still get, I guess, their TV contracts, but ticket sales and all the things associated with the game itself, there's a lot of revenue there. And without having people in the stands, playing the game is incidental to the fact of they've got to have people in the stands. They've got to sell the tickets. And if they can't do that, they're hoping that they can push it off until the spring, play the season in the spring, and sell tickets. But they knew that they could play the season, but they were going to have to play it in front of empty stadiums, and they weren't going to give up that money.
Well, it's cool. It's funny. So Big 12 reportedly is split on decision to play. So Big 12 is still, they met today. Big 12 is Texas, TCU, Oklahoma, Baylor, those type of schools. All the Texas schools really, and Oklahoma. They're split.
Supposed to meet next week, right?
SEC, two of the biggest coaches in SEC football, Ed Orgeron and for LSU and Nick Saban for Alabama. Don't want to get into it too much because I know Reed likes all that stuff, but they basically said, I mean, Ed Orgeron was on Fox News, so that does kind of tie into you. He said, we're ready to play. Kids are going to be a lot safer under my watch where I can see where they are. Because let me tell you, if you think Nick Saban and Ed Orgeron are not going to have a tight leash on these kids, you're mistaken. You don't know anything about SEC football.
They will protect them, and they will have them, and they will put the things in place. You can protect the kids. It's not – the other colleges are not making the decision because they can't protect the kids. They can quarantine them. They can put them in a bubble. They can control that atmosphere. What they're doing is they're saying we can't find a way – because they've all worked on how can we get people back in the stadium. They thought that they would have something. They're betting on that by the time the spring rolls around, because that's what the last was announced was we're not canceling it. We're postponing it until the spring semester. So they're going to play it January, February, start playing football then and just push it back. They're hoping by then they have a vaccine. They have something that they can put people in the stands.
Well, that'll do it for that. Don't want to get into that too much. But, yeah, money, that's a good point. I didn't even think about the money side of it. But, yeah, that could actually be saving money here. And not to mention we live in a pretty crazy world when it comes to lawsuits and things like that. Don't you think there's going to be some parents out there that if their boy gets a strep throat or not even coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, then there's that whole thing too. But it's about making money. It's about making money. They're going to – the colleges need to make money.
Yep. Well, there you go. All right. Well, we'll talk to you later. It was a good episode, and we'll sign off.
Bye-bye.